Outlet Liquor is your place to buy a case. Stock up and save when you shop the lowest prices available every day at Outlet Liquor. You never have to wait for a sale. The more you buy, the more you save. Only at Outlet Liquor.
What's your outlet?
Folks, it's Tuesday, and you know what that means. This is not the show where you're wrestling with your budget. It's not the show where you're wrestling with your conscience. It is wrestling with emotion. I'm my best Dr. Britt Baker, DMD shit. And we got the panel here per usual. They're not all here, but we got the boys, the main core, the core faction, as you will say, starting with the new voice of reason, Rob Ryan, head of the table, Michael Partham, and the man, the myth, the legend, 716 Ali. What is up, boys? Good to see you.
What is going on?
It's a great time to be a wrestling fan. We're back on track. We are officially Cody Crybabies.
Yeah, not only are we Cody Crybabies, but we're in the thick of it for the road to WrestleMania. Obviously, a lot has changed in front of the curtain. A lot has probably changed behind the curtain. So let's start where we think there was an immediate change. Obviously, we did our show last week prior to Thursday, so let's kick it off with what everyone's been talking about the past week. Press conference mania. I'll start with you, Rob. I've expressed to you guys, I think the beginning of this was very slow because we all only came for one segment. But when that segment started, boy, was it entertaining.
It was a damn cinema. I was sports entertained. I mean, we kind of thought when Seth came out first and then he was introducing Cody, we're like, uh-oh, it's happening. But then we heard Roman's music and we all just freaked out because we knew it was happening next. It was definitely a swerve, I think, in my book. But, I mean, what a way. We're getting Rock for multiple shows, and now we can maybe a heel Rock, even better. I mean, it was just put on so well.
Parthy?
You want my thoughts?
Of course I do.
They did what they had to do. I mean, I didn't know if they were going to do it. I had my doubts with every report saying that Rock and Roman was set. It was, like Roman was saying, this is a done deal at the presser. And I guess he might have been sort of acknowledging the reports that was everything was telling us that match Rock Roman was set for WrestleMania. And telling Cody that this is a done deal, almost as if he was telling fans this is a done deal, but playing into that a little bit. But now Cody's given us the swerve, so to speak, and now it's Cody Roman at WrestleMania. We don't know how The Rock's going to be involved. Does he get his own match with Roman? Is there going to be a tag match on night one somehow? If Seth's going to be up for that, because he's still got to defend his World Heavyweight Championship against the winner of Elimination Chamber. So there's still a lot of unanswered questions coming out of this. Certainly I have some of my own, and we'll get into that later, I would like to think. But at least we've got what everybody wanted. And let's make no mistake about it. This is happening because everybody wanted it, and everybody made a stink out of it, whether you want to call them crybabies or hashtag warriors or whatever the heck. Some people have said, hey, Rock Roman's happening, and we're going to be happy with it. Just go along for the ride, let it play out. If we let it play out, we wouldn't be where we are right now. Whether it's live crowds or people on Twitter, if we let it play out, Rock Roman would be set and Cody wouldn't be finishing his story, hopefully, supposedly, at WrestleMania.
Ali.
Well, I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I was on my feet during that whole 22-minute segment, just loving every moment of it. As a wrestling fan, this is why we watch wrestling. They really blurred the lines between what is reality and what is a work. I mean, Partham's been a victim to it. We've all seen it. I believe last week you had said that this is not going to happen. The only way it happens is if Rock falls off a cliff, I believe was your exact quote. And The Rock is still standing, and he's a heel in WWE in 2024, something I never could have predicted. I would have thought that he would have cared about protecting his brand and his IP. But thankfully, he was able to put his ego behind him and realize what was best for business. Slick, too sweet me.
I mean, goddamn, boys.
Second, Ali, 1 second. How was I swerved exactly? It's one thing to be swerved, and it's another thing for them to change their mind. I thought they weren't going to change their mind. I thought they were set on it. That I'll admit I was wrong about. We got them to change their mind. But Slick, correct me if I'm wrong. You said it was a swerve. You said it was a work from the beginning, like before even Cody, stepped aside and let The Rock confront Roman Reigns on SmackDown. I say that was their plan, and we changed their minds. We basically forced their hand. We 2014 them. We moved the movement that Ted to them, or however you want to say it.
I've come to think that you might be right, and ultimately we'll never really know. We'll never really
someone will write a book. And we'll get the real story.
I mean, hopefully 20 fucking years. We'll see you on Wrestling with Emotion episode 5,000, whatever.
I'm just happy to shove those nuggets up my ass.
Listen,
Cody,
what do we do with those nuggets, Rob?
Yeah,
Cody will write a tell-all book, and he'll give us the real scoop on what really went down in these last couple of weeks here.
Well, this is where things actually can get interesting. He's had camera crews following him for the last year since his loss at Mania. So they're doing another doc, and I'm assuming that we're going to get to see all this kind of, like, I can imagine just Cody sitting there for 10 minutes just pissed the night of that SmackDown. And then it'll be like a graphic of all the tweets coming in. And, hopefully we get to the end that we all want to see, which is him finishing the story at Mania. But yes, I don't think it was the work all the way from the front. I think they had to pivot.
What if we had to get that conversation on camera of either whether he's talking to Triple H or The Rock himself saying, I'll go along with this, guys, but I don't know if this is such a good idea.
Right.
So I think I've opened eye to that Partham, that idea that they probably pivoted, but until that book comes out, whatever it is, 20 years from now, all these dirt sheets, I've learned my lesson with dirt sheets in the past. We won't know until then, and that's okay with me. I'm going to get the real voice of reason in here because he's the one that's been saying he doesn't want The Rock to come back, and now that he's back, everyone's listening to him. He has bragging rights. The voice of reason, Ernie Green.
Ernie. What's up, guys? How's it going?
Doing great. How are you? We're talking the press conference, the wild fallout, and I just alluded to how you were basically the only one that was not welcoming Rock back at any given point.
Well, you know what's funny, guys, is be careful what you wish for, because don't forget, I am the one who said all along, I don't want The Rock to come back, but if he comes back, he needs to come back as a heel. And guess what? I got exactly what I wanted, and I'm like, you know what? Now that I see it, I don't want it. You know what I'm saying? So be careful what you wish for, because I got exactly what I wanted, but I didn't want him to be a heel and the way he's being a heel now. He's a heel now because he has no choice, because the crowd completely turned on him. I was at the press conference, humble brag, and that the reaction to him was wild. I mean, there was only a couple thousand people there. They were booing the absolute heck out of him. You know what I'm saying? So they were booing him terribly. And it's not, they could have done literally anything other than what they did to get The Rock and Roman in the main event in WrestleMania, and they screwed it up. It was bad. And unfortunately, go ahead.
No. Continue. Sorry.
I don't really have anything else much to say about that other than, really they've kind of backed themselves into a corner. And Partham, go ahead. Go ahead.
Ernie, what kind of heel did you want The Rock to come back as, if not, corporate Hollywood Rock kind of heel?
I wanted Rock to come back and just face Roman as I'm too good for the bloodline. Come back as listen, you know what? You followed the bloodline, because of the bloodline. I was, he tells that story about how he was evicted in Hawaii and about how he was poor growing up until he got to college and made himself. I wanted him to come back as if, you know what? I made myself who I am in spite of the bloodline. Not because of the bloodline, so screw all of you. I wanted him to be act like he was above and better than the bloodline, similar to how he acted in 2003 when he was above and better than WWE. That's kind of the heel I wanted, and they kind of forced him into I'm the corporate heel now, who's I'm on the side of corporate and the bloodline who's facing Cody. It works. It just wasn't the heel I wanted it to be. It's going to work because my prediction, and I'll stop talking after this. My prediction at the end of WrestleMania is that The Rock and Triple H will be holding Cody's hands in the air in victory with the belt.
That would be a dope sight to see. But yeah, I mean, now we have basically bloodline Rock. We want to talk about things not making sense. How do we go from Friday, The Rock is staring down Roman Reigns and it looks like punches are about to be thrown any minute, to them boys dapping each other up like they're long lost cousins that haven't seen each other in years, because they are, and the family tree on the fucking Jumbotron. How do we go from that to that? I don't know.
It's part of the pivot.
Because when you disrespect
Well, Partham, you
family,
should
it's
know a
his
lot
family.
about the pivot at this point. Anyway, I think we'll leave the press conference at that. Still a lot to come.
Well,
with the
wait. There's one thing I do
WrestleMania.
want to put in there about Roman and Rock's dynamic, which is, and I've seen this all over the internet too. It's like now it feels like Roman kind of has to take the back seat even more than he already has been this
Well, he's
last
walking
year.
behind Rock already.
Yeah, and
He's
it's
walking
I
behind
feel
Rock,
like
and Rock's saying the words for him. I mean,
right. And I just want to know how they're going to get over that and how they're going to overcome that challenge on a story level. Because if we're going to get to, a fuming feud between whether it's Cody and Seth and Rock and Roman, how are we going to get to that singles match between them two standing across from each other in Philly?
I think there's going to be some falling out at WrestleMania between them. Like something's going to go wrong for Roman, and one of them's going to blame the other, and then it's going to be on like it's supposed to be. But they just won't be getting in the way of Cody's story because that'll be already be finished. Hopefully, we expect.
let me get Paul Heyman as the absolute catalyst of why this thing starts to split between Roman and The Rock. No, I'm just kidding. I love Paul Heyman, but that would be funny. But anyway, I think we should leave the press conference there for now. Obviously, a lot more is going to happen with this storyline, but I think we should get to last night's wrestling show. And I'm going to bring in another member of our panel here. Dwayne O'Mania is joining us to react to Monday Night Raw live. Dwayne, how are you, buddy?
Not bad, Slick. What did I miss?
You didn't miss much. We just went over the press conference, all the reactions possible that could come out of that press conference. And getting to Raw last night was just about to bring up a banner for Cody and his Shield.
Okay.
I'll do that right now. Cody's Shield. I want thoughts on this segment because we got a lot of nostalgia in this segment from Seth talking about the Shield. Obviously, you had Seth talk about how it was partially his fault for making Roman Reigns the man he is today, and ultimately saying he's got Cody's back if this is what it comes down to, given the history these guys have had. Very interesting. Dwayne, I'll start with you because I'm sure you got a lot to say about this.
I love it because I think it's going to lead to a night one tag match with Cody and Seth taking on what we would assume would be Rock and Roman, which would be absolutely electric. And then Seth would probably defend the World Heavyweight Championship on night two. That would have to be your night one main event, right? That tag match, if that were to happen, that's your main event without a doubt. Which I think is good for business, especially for Seth Rollins, to be able to be on essentially be a part of both main events, because you have to imagine he'd be out there for Cody's main event against Roman, and then he'd have his own match on night two. But I absolutely love the angle of where they took it, whether this was intentional or unintentional. Most likely unintentional from everything we've seen over the past few weeks. I'm a big fan of Seth being in Cody's corner, because it obviously gives you the opportunity to have him turn heel after the fact, whether it be right immediately after we would hope that Cody wins the undisputed title, or maybe Raw after Mania, big pop to end Raw after Mania would be awesome.
Yeah, Raw after Mania, obviously that disaster under Vince regime last year. Hopefully we can get back to some good Raw after Mania, maybe a surprise, who knows. Ali, what did you think of Raw last night? Highlights, obviously this Cody segment really got the people going.
Well, unfortunately, I fell asleep at like 10:30 right before the main event, but the Cody Seth promo was some of the best mic work I've seen current generation talent do. Seth, honestly, I think outdid Cody in this one, which is hard to do.
I agree.
And yeah, I think that was some of the best work Seth's ever done. Now, I did put a little bit of a hot take in the chat, and I still think it'd be the coolest way to go, which basically what I said was, imagine, there's some Rock interference in the night 2 main event between Cody and Roman. Seth comes out to protect, Cody wins, and then in the ring as they're celebrating, Seth turns on Cody. I think that would be the best way to go with the storyline, because these guys do have a lot of history, just like last week or 2 weeks ago. Seth was begging him to fight him, and now he's like, I'm on your team. So I would like to
guess
see.
my only question for you on that is, do you want to take the title off Seth before he turns on Cody?
Probably.
I think they do.
I think he absolutely loses the belt at WrestleMania, only because I think he's probably going to go away for a little bit. Obviously, he has that knee thing. I don't know. We don't know if it requires surgery or not, or if it's something that's going to heal without it. But I absolutely think Seth probably most likely drops the belt to whoever he faces at Mania.
Well, pivoting to another major thing, do you guys think it is possible for Gunther to lose to main event Jey Uso next week and then maybe make a push towards the World Heavyweight Championship? Because that's the thought that I've been tossing around a little bit.
He's not in the Elimination Chamber, right?
I do think it's possible. I don't know how possible, but Ernie, do you have thoughts on this?
Well, he's not in the Elimination Chamber, so let me preface this by saying, now that The Rock and Lagana are back, everything's off the rail, because they like, everybody loves the Attitude Era, but people forget that the Attitude Era was full of things that absolutely never made sense, and they never explained anything. They never explained why it didn't make sense. Like, Partham's looking for an explanation, and he's 100% right, but he's 100% never going to get in it, because it's just never going to happen if The Rock has a prevalence thing, because him and Dave Lagana just throw a bunch of shit on the wall and hope it sticks because people love The Rock, and it didn't stick. So, I mean, that's kind of, I agree with Partham 100%. I just don't hold your breath on them explaining that out ever. So anything's possible now, and it really annoys me because they've done such a great job under the tutelage of Paul Triple H, the Becky, you have to say now, apparently, that they've done such a great job with him that everything, there's continuity, there's callbacks, there's everything you want in professional wrestling. Most everything makes sense. And then he took 2 years of making sense and turned it into one big giant crumple of shit that doesn't make sense, and it's annoying. But so anything's possible. I don't think Gunther's gonna. I think that Jimmy will cost Jay this week, which will set up their WrestleMania match. I think it's interesting to see who Gunther will face at WrestleMania, because it was rumored that he was going to face Brock. I'm sorry, name redacted. I apologize. Yeah, so he can't say his name anymore. But I think that was going to happen. I wonder who the suitable replacement is going to be for Gunther. It's going to be a big time match. I just don't see him winning the Intercontinental title match this week, and that was the question, right? That was
yeah.
I don't see that happen. But I mean, I can see Jay winning the title eventually this year, because they are really like making it a point that he's looking for his first singles title. I can see him beating Gunther after WrestleMania. I don't see him beating him before WrestleMania.
I agree. I think it's a bit too soon. Partham, Rob, Cody, thoughts, title picture, Gunther.
You go, Rob.
Go first. All right, I'll go first. Yeah, I mean, that promo last night was great. One hidden gem that people may have missed, Rock was making fun of Moana with, well, what can I say? You're welcome. That was awesome. But the whole thing was awesome. Cody looking at Pat being like, these nuggets, and Pat's just like, I think you're supposed to shove them up your ass. That was
hilarious.
That was awesome. Overall, I like the True segment where he's trying to call Miz for backup because he realizes that he's not in Judgment Day and he's about to get beat up. So we'll see where that goes. Obviously, something else that was kind of hidden. I think Cody's not just trying to build a Shield. He's trying to build the Avengers. He's gonna have Sammy in his corner. Damn. He's gonna have
Jay.
All the people
in his corner.
All the people that Roman embarrassed.
Yeah, he's gonna have them all in his corner. That's me great. And then the Elimination Chamber matches last night were pretty good as well. I'm looking forward to that pay-per-view, even if it's that early. Both Elimination Chamber matches should be outstanding matches. And one other thing that's kind of from Friday night, but Triple H's promo calling out The Rock, saying, I don't care about your opinion, know your role and shut your mouth. That was just amazing.
Seth said all the right things, and it's almost a callback to his interview last year when he became World Heavyweight Champion, talking about Roman Reigns. He says, Roman's a brother. I still love Roman Reigns, but right now I don't like Roman Reigns. And this has been festering with Seth and his kayfabe character for months now, that he doesn't like the way Roman is, and he wants that title off of him as much as anybody. So as much as he wanted to get his own redemption against Cody for the 3 losses, a couple of years ago, he wants even more to bring down Roman and, basically end this part-time champion facade thing. He wants another workhorse title on the other brand that he can sort of measure himself against. So that's where I think Cody's coming from. I don't see a Seth betrayal of Cody at WrestleMania. I think he genuinely wants to put aside whatever differences he has with Cody. And Cody's going to build like Rob said, build the Avengers with Sammy and Jay, and maybe bring Kevin over from SmackDown and, reacquaint himself with Sammy. Sammy and Kevin together ran off the Usos last year. They just didn't account for Solo coming back out under a hoodie after he was banned from ringside. Now that Jay's basically turned on Jimmy and they're going to probably settle their differences at WrestleMania, Jay can run off Jimmy. Maybe Sammy can account for Solo, but you still got The Rock to factor in. So who's going to take care of him? Maybe Cody. Maybe after the tag match happens, Cody comes out and, gets physical with The Rock. And now it's basically 3-on-3 as far as outside interference goes, unless you account for Paul Heyman handing Roman a title or something to that effect. But I think Cody's going to be a little more hip to the Bloodlines, shenanigans this time around. And I think he's going to be one step ahead of them, I think. The one thing about Seth's promo that I was hoping that he would mention, he says he sort of created Roman when he was with the Shield. I thought it would have meant that he created Roman, so to speak, when he put the chair in his back and sort of set him on this path of becoming Roman Reigns as he is now. But other than that, it was a great promo from Seth. As far as who gets Gunther at WrestleMania, I see Sami Zayn with his underdog role sort of becoming the Rocky Balboa, and Gunther sort of being not so much Apollo Creed, but more like Ivan Drago in that respect.
Yeah, interesting. Oh, how much can change in a year? How you mentioned long-term storytelling. Who would have thought? WWE long-term storytelling. What a thing. It's nice. It's nice to have once in a while. But transitioning here, Rob made a perfect segue. Elimination Chamber matches. That's only bit
next
over.
week.
Yeah,
Next Saturday.
Not this Saturday. Next Saturday. Men's, we have Lashley, LA Knight, Randy Orton, McIntyre so far, I believe. Women's, unless I'm missing a few, Liv Morgan and Bianca. Is that it?
Becky.
Oh, well, Becky, yeah, obviously. And what, Shayna maybe?
No, I think
Shayna lost the
Shayna
match.
was. Yeah, I was
There's a
gonna
match
say
this week for Tiffany Stratton and Naomi. And
Oh,
there's one other
Naomi's
match, and
winning.
then there's a battle royale next Monday.
Okay, cool. So where do we see? What are we thinking for these matches? Obviously, the men's is for a shot at this World Heavyweight Championship WrestleMania. The women's is to face either Rhea Ripley or Nia Jax. If you're a follower of this show, you'll just assume that'll be Rhea Ripley. What do we think, boys? I think the men's is a lot more intriguing to me as of right now, because I think the WWE's slapping it right in our face that they want Becky to face Rhea at Mania. I mean, if anyone disagrees, take the reins and go. But
what about Drew for the men's? Does anyone disagree with that one?
I don't. They're both. They're both kind of obvious.
I would say if you're a betting man, you would say Drew, but I think they could really take that in a couple different directions. Like if you watch Monday Night Raw, LA Knight is still as hot as he's ever been. Like they could easily have LA Knight win that match. I wouldn't be at all surprised. Drew is the best heel in the business right now. I think he should win it. But if you were to ask me which two guys I think it could come down to as the final two, I would say LA Knight and Drew for sure.
I think that's good. I'm just hesitant with LA Knight because, obviously we've all expressed the potential Logan Paul feud, potential U.S. title at Mania. I think that would be awesome. I think that's the right move. LA Knight totally deserves to be in the World Heavyweight title picture, in my opinion. I just think you could wait a bit.
They're going to start that feud at Elimination Chamber. Logan Paul's going to win his qualifying match on Friday, and somehow in that event they're going to start building that feud to Mania. But I think both winners are predictable, but I think that women's match is going to be a really well put on match. I mean, you got the likes of Liv Morgan, Becky, Bianca. You're probably going to have Jade Cargill win that battle royale on Monday. And then you'll probably have Naomi and I can't think who the other, and Tiffany Stratton in there. That is going to be a really good match, which they should highlight the stars they have on that side of the company.
Well, talking about matches on that card, can I say I am shocked? I'm excited for a Nia Jax match. as long as she doesn't injure Rhea, I am excited for this match. Her work this last run of hers has been exponentially better than her work previously.
They must trust Nia so much more to put her in the ring with their women's world heavyweight champion a month before WrestleMania. I mean, you gotta have serious trust in someone this close to WrestleMania season with all the people going down to injuries and Nia's history of either deliberately or not deliberately injuring her opponents
and in her home country.
I want the voice of reason's take on this one.
Well, I wouldn't put Nia in a high profile match ever. That's just me. For many reasons, much less the fact that she injures people. However, really quickly though, I will say this: I'm looking forward to the potential of a Cody Sammy versus Nakamura Drew match down there. I think that's gonna. Oh, we can't. No, Drew's in the chamber. Never mind.
Yeah.
So we can't have that. My bad. But I can see maybe Cody's got to face somebody because he's going to be there. So I wonder if Cody faces somebody.
Is Sammy going to be in the chamber?
No, he lost his qualifying match to Orton.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Okay.
In his 12 match losing streak.
Dude, they had some really good qualifying matches. I also want to say, like, some really interesting matchups.
Yeah.
Dwayne touched on it earlier. Bronson Reed getting gypped out of a spot on his home country's PLE. Kind of shitty, but I could totally see them getting him into a spot in a 0 hour or something. Oh, 0 hour. Actually, it starts at 5 a.m. our time. I don't know about that.
I had heard about Bronson Reed that either something happened in his personal life, either he is getting married and or has a death in the family, maybe both at the same time somehow. And that's why he can't make to the event. I don't know if that was like a rumor or a report or something.
Well, he tweeted saying it's a damn shame that I won't be at I won't be performing in my home country.
Either way, Elimination Chamber definitely set to be a good PLE. I know this crew will be getting up early for that one. Hopefully you all are as well. Roman and Rock on SmackDown this Friday. Obviously, the Chamber a bit over a week away. We're going to wrap up real quick. Obviously, tomorrow is Wednesday Night Dynamite. And our boy, Danny Garcia, going for a shot at the TNT title. And he's facing none other than the Rated R superstar, Adam Copeland. This one is sure to have you on the edge of your seat. Folks, I want to know predictions for this because I feel like Edge and Christian's story is totally not finished with the TNT title. But at the same time, I feel like Garcia needs his flowers, and this might be the perfect time to do it. Let's go around the horn real quick, just predictions as to what happens and who wins this match.
Yeah, I think Garcia deserves the flowers, but I think they're going for the trilogy. I'm going Copeland.
If it wasn't so close to – how close are we to Revolution at this point?
A couple weeks, March 3rd, I want to say it is.
Yeah, first week of March.
If it wasn't so close, I think this could have been, a between pay-per-view match for Garcia to challenge for the TNT title, and then Adam Copeland would get his. But I think Copeland will win it, and then they'll have the TNT title rematch at Revolution.
I'm going to go Copeland. To your point, I think they're going to go for the trilogy, but I do see him putting Daniel Garcia over. To another point you guys just made, he definitely deserves an opportunity at the TNT title, but I think there's just so much more to Christian Cage and Copeland. I'd be more at this moment right now. I'm more intrigued with watching that match than I am Garcia and Christian Cage.
Sorry, go ahead. Let me just say, this Adam Copeland guy looks a lot like Edge. I think he's going to win this match because, the Edge lookalike versus Christian, it's almost as good as Edge versus Christian.
He even has the same name, Rated R Superstar.
And the same theme. And it's striking.
Somewhere Kevin Owens is screaming at you in his screen. They're the same guy.
I'll say this. Adam Copeland versus Christian Cage does not need a title. It's a hot feud that does not need the TV title. I kind of wish that they had already transitioned the title away from both of them. Because I think Danny Garcia should win the TV title, but I just don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, unfortunately, because it makes no sense storyline-wise with Christian and Cage and Adam Copeland still feuding. I hope that they I think Adam Copeland wins, and I hope that they transition both of them away from the TNT title as soon as possible, because neither of them need it, and someone like Danny Garcia could use it to push his career, further.
I'll say this. I think there is one way that they could have Garcia win tomorrow, and it's Christian costs Copeland. Garcia gets that title shot before Revolution, and Copeland costs Christian trying to defend his title. Garcia wins, and then you got the blood feud going into Revolution. I don't think that'll be the case. I am also going with Copeland. So we got a clean sweep across the board. Should be a good Dynamite tomorrow. Dax Harwood versus John Moxley as well. I'm not sure if any other matches announced. We shall see. Obviously, big business mid-March, Revolution early March, and then Elimination Chamber coming up, folks. Stay tuned. We'll be back every Tuesday. We're going to let you go. Sabres are on. Big tilt tonight, Dueno. But until then, remember, this is not wrestling with your conscience. It is not wrestling with your budget. It is wrestling with emotion.
Yeah.
Scissor me, Rob Ryan.